They turned my son's pain into a viral video. But he came back. My name is Joanna, I'm 36 years old, and I'm the mother of 3 children, Pedro, Anina, and Carlinhos. This story happened 2 years ago, when I still believed that the biggest challenge of motherhood was balancing work, home, and paying bills at the end of the month. At the time, I was a public school teacher and had recently separated, trying to restructure my emotional and financial life. We lived in a small but loving apartment. Pedro, my firstborn, was the quietest. Intelligent and sensitive, he spent hours drawing or immersed in books. I knew he was introverted, but I never imagined it would become a source of suffering. It all started when my niece, Erica, my older sister's daughter, came to spend some time with us. She was 17 and the complete opposite of Pedro. Extroverted, talkative, and had a large following on TikTok. My sister was going through a marital crisis, and out of a mix of compassion and family obligation, I agreed to take in Erica temporarily. At first, it seemed like a good idea. Pedro even tried to interact with her, but it soon became clear that they lived in different worlds. And worst of all, her world began to invade his, cruelly and silently. I'd noticed sidelong glances, muffled giggles, and loose jokes during dinner, but since I was always rushing around, I tended to downplay it. I'd wake up early, drop the kids off at school, teach all day, arrive home exhausted, and just want to shower and sleep. When Pedro started to isolate himself even more, I thought it was just adolescence. But he was increasingly apathetic, irritable, and had dark circles under his eyes. I thought it was because of school. It never occurred to me that hell was right there in our own home, and coming from someone in our own family. It was a Saturday afternoon when the sandcastle crumbled. A mother from school contacted me on WhatsApp saying her son had seen a video of Pedro on TikTok. That was going viral. My heart sank. I ran to look for it, and when I found the video, I froze. It was Pedro trying to organize his books on the shelf, with ridiculous music playing in the background and mocking captions calling him a stuck-up nerd, weirdo of the month, and other things I can't even repeat. In the video, Erica appears laughing behind the camera. The worst part? It had over 100,000 views. Cruel comments, laughing emojis, people tagging other people. It was like a punch in the gut. Pedro was locked in his room. I knocked, called, begged. He wouldn't open the door. When he finally came into the room hours later, I saw something in his eyes I'll never forget. Shame, humiliation, and a deep pain. I tried to hug him, but he pulled away. He said I never protected him, that I was blind, that I let Erica make fun of him because I cared more about my family than my own children. That hurt. A lot. More than any scream or insult I'd ever heard. Because it was true. I'd ignored the signs. I'd failed my son. That night, I took Erica out of the house. I called my sister and told her she had until the next day to come pick up her daughter. I explained what happened, sent the videos, screenshots, everything. My sister was shocked, tried to play it down, saying it was teenage stuff, but I was firm. This wasn't a joke. It was public humiliation, and with serious consequences. Pedro had an anxiety attack on Sunday. We had to go to the emergency room. He was shaking, couldn't breathe, and that's when I realized the situation had gone too far. The following week, I scheduled a psychologist for Pedro and also started therapy. I needed to understand myself, forgive myself, and above all, be emotionally stable to help him. The school was also notified, and some students who shared the video were warned. I filed a lawsuit against Erica for moral damages, even with the burden of reporting my own niece. It was a difficult but necessary decision. I needed to show Pedro that he was valuable, that someone was finally fighting for him. Amidst this chaos, I realized my son wasn't just a victim of bullying. He was screaming for a voice, for space, for respect. And as a mother, I could no longer silence this pain. We began working together on a project about empathy and cyberbullying, which later became a school lecture and a YouTube channel. Pedro is still shy, but today he speaks up. He expresses himself. And most importantly, he feels heard. At first, Pedro's channel was simply a form of therapy, a way for him to express his feelings without having to look anyone in the eye. He made short videos, using drawings he created himself, while talking about how he felt about being different. He didn't use his own face or name, but the content was so sincere, so human, that it began to attract attention. Other teenagers began commenting, saying they felt the same way. And for the first time, Pedro didn't feel alone. It was transformative for him. And for me too. I also started sharing a bit of my journey as a mother. I recorded a video explaining how I felt when I saw my son being humiliated online and how I had to face my own mistakes to change. It wasn't easy. I received criticism, of course. Some people said I was trying to promote myself by using my son's suffering. Others said it was just drama, but most supported me. And in that support, I found the strength to carry on. Because telling the truth hurts, but it also frees. And I know. Longer wanted to carry hidden guilt inside my chest. Meanwhile, Erica disappeared from social media. She deleted her profiles, stopped appearing in her friends' videos, and never contacted me again. My sister blamed me for ruining her daughter's reputation. But I knew what was at stake was much more than reputation. It was character, it was responsibility, it was respect for the pain of others. I never wished Erica harm. I just wanted her to understand the damage she caused. To this day, I don't know if she understood, but her silence perhaps says more than any poorly rehearsed apology. Our legal process progressed slowly. The judge ordered protective measures for Pedro, including preventing Erica from mentioning his name or posting any content related to the period. We also obtained symbolic compensation, which we used in full to fund therapy sessions and invest in the channel. But more important than the formal justice was the sense of justice Pedro regained internally. He began to sleep better. He started drawing again. He reconnected with old friends. And he smiled again in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. There was a day that really affected me. It was Pedro's 15th birthday. We had a small celebration, just for us, and he asked to say a few words before congratulating him. He took a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket, took a deep breath, and said, "Today, I don't want to pretend I don't remember what happened, but I want to remember that I survived, and that now I'm no longer ashamed of who I am." I cried like a child. Anina clapped her hands, Carlinhos hugged his brother, and there, in that simple room, one of the greatest victories of our lives took place. Of course, we still have difficult days. The anxiety didn't magically disappear, and Pedro's fear of being ridiculed again sometimes returns. But now he knows he has a support network, and he also knows he has a voice. He no longer shuts up in the face of mean jokes, nor does he accept labels. He's learned to say, "This hurts me," without feeling weak. And I've learned to listen with my heart, not just my ears. Because sometimes our children scream in silence, and we, in the rush of everyday life, forget to notice. Today, Pedro's channel has over 40,000 subscribers. He doesn't care much about the numbers, but he's proud when he receives messages from other teens who say, "You helped me not give up." And that's what matters. Every life touched, every young person who feels less alone, is a victory. His school has also changed. They created a mediation and empathy group where students and teachers discuss topics like bullying, mental health, and coexistence. Pedro is a member, and every time he enters that room, he enters as someone who has overcome. And me? I'm still a mother, with mistakes, successes, sleepless nights, and days of guilt. But today, I'm a more attentive, more assertive, and above all, more present mother. The pain we experienced brought us together, and the shame that nearly destroyed Pedro became the foundation of his strength, and mine too. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what people say on social media. What matters is what we do when no one is looking. And I chose to no longer remain silent. It's not easy to admit we've failed the ones we love most. For a long time, I was ashamed to look in the mirror and face the woman who, even wanting to protect her son, let his suffering go unnoticed in her own home. But the truth is, no one teaches us how to be a mother to a child who suffers in silence. We learn by making mistakes, by listening, by being hit by life. And that's exactly what I did. I turned my shame into learning. I turned fear into courage. And today, if I can help other mothers see what it took me a while to see, it will have been worth it. The hardest part was forgiving myself, because I knew that if I continued to hold on to guilt, I wouldn't be able to be the mother Pedro needed at that moment. Therapy helped me lot in this process. I learned that taking responsibility isn't the same as constantly punishing yourself. I also learned that loving a child isn't just about protecting them from others. It's about protecting them from ourselves, from our distractions, our omissions, our misguided good intentions. And this understanding changed me as a mother, as a woman, and as a human being. Pedro taught me so much. With his silent pain, with his courage in transforming suffering into struggle, with his determination not to become bitter. He could have closed himself off from the world, but he chose to open a welcoming space for other young people. That, to me, is heroic. He didn't just save himself, he reached out to others. And seeing this happen before my eyes is the greatest reward I could have. It moves me to remember that all of this arose from a moment of total darkness. It's as if the pain had dug a tunnel, and on the other side, there was light. Anina, my middle daughter, has also matured greatly through all this. She's become an advocate for her brother, questioning attitudes that previously went unnoticed. The other day, she came home from school saying she stopped a girl from making fun of a classmate. She said she remembered what they did to Pedro and didn't want to stay quiet. She's only 10, but she's already understood what many adults still pretend not to see. That silence in the face of humiliation also hurts. Carlinhos, even when he's young, also notices when his brother is quieter and will cuddle him, draw a picture, or smile. Each gesture is worth its weight in gold. Today, when I look at our family, I see scars, but I also see resilience, affection, and rebuilding. We're not perfect, never have been, but we're real. We've learned to talk about feelings, to apologize, to acknowledge when we've made mistakes. We've learned to observe more, to give space, but also presence. And above all, we've learned the importance of respecting each other's time, limits, and essence. Our home is now a space where Pedro can be himself, with silence, with tears, with shy smiles, or with courageous videos. I won't romanticize suffering. If I could, I'd go back in time and avoid it all. But since I can't, I chose to do something about it. I chose to speak out. I chose not to hide it anymore, because there are too many Joannas out there thinking her son is just quiet, when in fact he's begging to be seen. There are too many Pedros suffering in silence, and too many Ericas who need to understand that influence comes with responsibility. If my story touches just one person, it's worth every word. Today, I can say that I'm no longer the same woman I was 2 years ago. I'm stronger, more aware, and much more connected to my children. The wound that bled so much has now healed and transformed into something I never imagined. A bridge between Pedro and me. A bridge between our story and that of so many other families who are going through the same thing and don't know where to begin. May this bridge serve to cross the fear, silence, and shame. And if you're reading this right now and have a child, a sibling, a student, or even a friend who's too quiet, stop for a moment. Really look. Ask questions. Listen without judging. Maybe they're just waiting for this. That's how everything changed here at home. And that's how overcoming begins. When we stop pretending everything's okay and start really listening.